Welcome back. There have been more developments today in Parliament around the SABC board. Yesterday, the Communications Committee appeared to say it would shortlist candidates and aim to appoint new members to the board within the next 2 weeks or so. Today, the committee has said it would first speak to members of the board who've resigned to ask them why they left the board. That means, from what I understand, it appears the committee will not appoint a board in the way that it had said that it would. It also appears to mean the SABC may not, in fact, have a board in time for the elections. The chair of Parliament's Portfolio Committee on Communications is Professor Hlengiwe Mkhize. Professor Mkhize, good evening to you tonight, and thank you so much for your time.
Good evening to the listeners. Good evening, Stephen.
Yesterday it seemed you were pressing ahead to appoint new board members. Now it seems you're putting on the brakes on that process. Why the change of heart?
Well, members were concerned about the history of this entity. So they felt that it's important to call to conduct exit interviews or invite people on a friendly basis to really come and address us on what led to resignations and all the things that happened in the past. And so we also have remaining members on the same day next week. The members felt that the 4 non-executive members in the current board will be invited to provide progress reports on investigations into board member Mr. Mkhize's qualifications, the turnaround strategy, labor relations issues, and progress with implementing the recommendations of the ad hoc committee. Really, the feeling was that, if you don't address issues that have led to the instability, you might find that you don't get different results. And so shifting the process per 1 day, it won't upset the program that we have set for ourselves to ensure that we continue the work till such time that the 6 administrations stop functioning, the 5th administration stop functioning completely.
Okay, so on this new timeline, Professor Mkhize, when are you planning to start the process to appoint new board members to the SABC?
Well, this is a route to a new board. Today, for the first time, we said, depending on the outcomes of the discussions next week, we will still be left with 2 options at our disposal in terms of the relevant sections of the Broadcasting Act, be it the interim board or going the interview route. We didn't think by just spending a day on getting that history, we will lose time completely. We still believe we are on track to honor our commitment. Actually, we don't have an option. We even discussed the conditions under which the shareholder is assisting them to get assistance with the financial dilemma they are in. One of the things that will be looked at is a stable board in whatever form, be it an interim one or the one which will emanate from interviews. The challenge also which we raised were the question of vetting, which is critical. It's one of the things which, in terms of the previous reports, we seem to have been lack in ensuring that the certificates are vetted properly, the qualifications, the security aspects, and so all those things we have approached relevant authorities to commit to the timelines, same timelines like we've envisaged in our program of action.
Okay, so last night, Professor, you might have seen the interview. It's still on YouTube if you want to go back and look at it. The organisation Media Monitoring Africa was here on SABC News. They claimed that there were people who were trying to leave the SABC without a board deliberately. So Professor Mkhize, let me put this to you so that you have an opportunity to properly respond to these claims. Are you and other people on the committee trying to stop the SABC from having a full board in time for the election? I mean, that's the claim that's being made against you in public.
You see, if we are in a committee and we discuss some of these issues, it's not even one political party. For instance, what caused this it didn't come even from the ANC, because sometimes when issues are portrayed out there, it's like, oh, the ANC is on this agenda. It came from some opposition parties. Basically, there's no way in which we can close this administration without a board. As I said, either an interim board or the board that a full-fledged board as of the act that will emanate from the shortlisting process. We have both processes at our disposal. Even today, we had a legal person from Parliament advising us on routes and different sections. I think it's closely monitored. I want to assure you that we will have a board, because otherwise we'll be reckless if we think we can run elections without a board, as prescribed in the Broadcasting Act.
Okay, so for you then, just for clarity, it's important for there to be a board or an interim board for the SABC to be independent and impartial during the election. That for you is actually very important then?
It's critical. I mean, you know, at the moment, the remaining board members do not correct. They don't even add value. They don't attend meetings because they have no status. So, obviously, no shareholder. I mean, even the minister in attendance today, it was clear that he's working hard to ensure that we support the board in its endeavors. I mean, the entity in its endeavors to be financially stable with the help of Treasury. So in our case, as an oversight committee, again, it's our responsibility in terms of the Act and the Constitution to ensure that this entity has a board. Otherwise, it will be run by executives.
Professor Hlengiwe Mkhize, ma'am, thank you so much. I really do appreciate your time tonight here on SABC News. The Chair of Parliament's Portfolio Committee on Communications, Professor Hlengiwe Mkhize, on the line.